I would like to thank everybody that participated today in this conference, and also those that will see it later on. Thank you for that, for watching. I'm Noam Amram. I'm the founder of RealtyBundles. I created this startup to help international investors to invest in real estate. I would like to share soon my presentation with you and to show you about RealtyBundles, our vision. That would be the first part of the webinar. And then we will move to our three speakers, three different agencies providing opportunities for investments in real estate in Budapest, in France, and in Portugal. And I thank you very much for participating and presenting the opportunities that you have from your side. Anything that is said today should not be considered as advice, so please be aware of that we are giving you the information, but not giving you any advice. All right, so this is about RealtyBundles. RealtyBundles helping international investors to create a global portfolio of real estate investments. Our vision in our marketplace is really to have multiple opportunities, hundreds of opportunities simultaneously on our marketplace. Each of these opportunities are bundles. We call it, these portfolios, we call them property bundles. And each bundle consists of several properties, for example, in a specific area or with a specific agency that is expert in their own domain. So if you look at our marketplace today, we have a few opportunities already, and three of them are presenting in this webinar. But since each of these opportunities is an open-ended portfolio, the number of opportunities that we will have on the platform will continue to grow. And at the end of the day, we'll have tens of them, hundreds of them, and even maybe thousands of opportunities. So international investors, they can come to the platform, they can learn from the information that we provide on each of the portfolios, and they can decide how you can decide how would you like to spread your investments to create a diversified real estate portfolios all over the world. So we work under the regulations by the FCA together with our partner Resolution Compliance Limited, which are also here, and we thank them for helping us to creating this service in the best and most compliant way that's possible. So let me introduce the problem that we are aiming to solve with our service. So first of all, this is a marketplace that is connecting agencies from different types. Most agencies have these three problems that I'm going to discuss. So first of all, a lot of them, because they are unregulated entities, they have nothing to offer for small investors. You will come to Monica in Budapest or to Jonathan and you will ask to invest 5,000 euros. They will have most likely nothing to offer for you. The second thing is that they have a very limited, perhaps, exposure to international investors from all over the world. And the third one is that there is an increase in a competition where there are a lot of alternative investments opportunities, which is competing with buying properties or investing big amounts in certain deals. On the other hand, investors, they also have some problems. First of all, most of them cannot afford spending large amounts of money, 100,000 euros, 50,000 euros, or they don't want to spend this amount on a single opportunity. A lot of them also don't have the know-how on different opportunities across the world, what is happening in the market in different places, how to assess the risks that they have. And there is a limitation about the transparency of the information that they can get on the internet or from different people that provide to them services, and therefore they are exposed perhaps to many risks. So what we are trying to do in RealtyBundles, we are trying to create this marketplace that is aiming to solve these problems of investors and the agencies at the same time. So this is a two-sided marketplaces where we provide services to both sides. We think that real estate agencies, in the light of the problems that I presented, they need to reinvent themselves. They need to think how to provide services in the future for small investors, how to compete with the competition, and how to be exposed to many investors around the world. This is normally heavily regulated activities, financial promotions to small investors, and this is why we believe that operating portfolios on our platform, this is a very good solution for them. On the other hand, for investors, the same. We supervise activities of partners. We are managing the SPVs, where each of the investments goes to each portfolio is a separate company, a separate special purpose vehicle, where investors are buying shares or bonds in the future. And we are managing this company on behalf of the shareholders. The agencies, they are service providers. They are not owners of this investment. They provide services, same as we. Just to say a little bit about the market in crowdfunding is increasing for around 40%, 50% every year. So more and more people are adopting investments, online investments using crowdfunding technologies. And this is something that is keep going on. So we believe that in the future, it will be a much larger amount of people will invest using such technologies, and less people would like to perhaps risk all their investments. That's our vision. Who we are, we have a team of 13 experts in different domains, in finance, in legal and regulations, in online marketing, in developmental platforms. We also have good advisors from different domains, taxations, regulations, developments, and all the things that we would like to have. This is our marketplace. This is how it looks like. You can browse through different opportunities. You can learn more about them, and you can choose and you can decide to become a shareholder and invest. Basically, we are providing services into 4 different types of real estate agencies, whether this is resorts, like the bundle that we have here in France that Robin will present to you in a few minutes, or we have some other service deals. We call them all kind of companies that are providing end-to-end deals in different locations. For example, we have a very potential good services in Germany, in the US coming soon, under discussions. Middlemen like Monica, for example, and real estate funds, we also found that they are interested in opening such bundles with us. So these are the opportunities that we have for you today on our platform, and we have coming soon in Bulgaria, in Kiev, and many other locations that we are discussing. So that's what I wanted to give this introduction to you about our services. I would be happy to answer all questions. You have my contact details here on the bottom of this screen, so I'll be happy to answer any email or any call from your audience. We will move now to Monica to present the opportunities that we have in Budapest.
Okay. Hello. Hi, my name is Monica Stark. First, 20 years ago, I was a real estate agent, and and I worked for a biggest agency in Budapest. And after having several years of experience in real estate business, we decided with my husband to open our own office. So we opened our first office. We established Lakáspont Ltd, which Flatpoint Ltd, 18 years ago. Our first real estate office was in the middle of the Budapest and still operating at the same place. Our first professional agent has joined us in 2003. Still in the same year, we opened our second office, then which was really in the downtown in Serb Street, and so we had a downtown office. We have a team. We work with about 10 agents, sometimes more, sometimes less, but expert agents. When we opened the office in the downtown, we started to deal with the downtown area exclusively. Many foreigners bought a flat from us, so we had very many foreigners, clients, who invested in Budapest. We have Hungarian clients also, but 50% of the Hungarians and 50% foreigners. The foreigners had no time to take care of their properties, so they asked me if I would take care of them. We started to manage the sold properties. Today, we have 2 branch offices in the downtown of Budapest. We support short-term and long-term investments. At short-term investments, we have them make an immediate profit by selling the property, what they bought. This technique is usually with home staging. If an investor chooses to not sell the property, we will look for a tenant and rent it out. Within the real estate management, we solve all the tasks related to the apartment. If the owner thinks he wants to sell the property, we put it on the market, advertise, and sell it. We have more than 20 years of experience in solving all kinds of problems in the real estate business. Our main goal is to build long-term relationships with our partners. This is only possible with satisfied customers. Our colleagues are up to date on their area. We provide now this opportunity for people to invest in Budapest with our service during RealtyBundles platform. That it means you can invest at small amounts and we can help them to do that. We have people who work with us on renovations. We trust them. We know all the system here, how to paying bills, take care of the properties, and all the aspects related to the management of the properties. The second slide, you can see how changed the market from 2014. There was a really going up prices in Budapest. Budapest was very attractive in the recent years for the investors. Still, Budapest is one of the most expensive capital in Europe. A lot of investors are interested in Budapest, and they believe, and we believe too, that the market prices go up because Budapest is very attractive. The city has a lot of tourists. Airbnb rental is very popular in the city. There are almost 3,000 apartments in Budapest where Airbnb accommodation is offered. There are very many good universities in Budapest also. A lot of international students come to study every year. Thousands of students, and we can rent the flats for them. We can find properties normally below the price, so we can create the potential increase in the volume. We're managing these flats. We are helping to buy, helping to sell, helping to renovate. We can give advice on which good deal. We know the players on the market. So what about property management, home management? This concept means when a company solve every problems with your property for a certain monthly fee, which is a cost directly proportional to rent on behalf of the owner as a full authorized agent. This can be renting, rent collection, cleaning, damage event, pipe breaking, repair, renovation, lock replacement, sale purchase, or complete refurbishment. So about just, I wanted to tell just something about the yield. So available for renting apartment in the center of the Budapest is approximately 6%. We calculated that the purchase price, a fee, a lawyer, and a renovation, and rent multiplied by 12. So this is a very basic system. So I just would like to show you an example from my experience working with RealtyBundles together. We had this beautiful flat in this beautiful house in the center. See the numbers. The price was, how do you say, 1,250 euro. And we rented the flat every month for 1,250 euro. We just rented for foreign students and who came for Erasmus programs to Hungary. It was a very good concept because if you share a flat for 4 or 5 small rooms, you can make almost double profit than you rent the same property for just 2 people who rent 2 bigger flats. So it was a brilliant idea what Noam found. So, and I think if we choose this system in the future, we can make more profit than the average profit in the Hungarian market. So, and at the end, if we sold the properties, also we can make a profit because we have agents, so we have a possibility to find the properties below on the market price. So this is what we have another flat, but this is also the same system. So we bought a flat and it was a 1 living room, 2 bedrooms, and we shared for 4 bedrooms, and it was the same system. The purchase price was 2.5 years before was almost 20% lower than now. So we also made a good profit. So this is what I wanted to tell you. So thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Monica, for sharing from your experience and the examples that you had in Budapest. I think we will move now to Robin to discuss Wyndham Halcyon Retreat project in France.
Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you very much. Just checking, can you guys tell me if my screen's showing up?
Yeah, we can see.
Wonderful, well, thank you very much. First of all, my name is Robin and I'm one of the owners of the Wyndham Halcyon Retreat. And I'm delighted to be speaking to you today. And I'd like to thank RealtyBundles for giving me this opportunity. We've been working with them for a while now. We love working with them. They're a great company, very professional, and we're excited to be working with them. So thank you, RealtyBundles. Okay, so as I mentioned, I'm the owner of the Wyndham Halcyon Retreat, which is a holiday resort in France. But before I begin, I'm going to talk about who we are as a company. We have been involved in the sale and construction of over 3,000 properties worldwide in 10 different countries. We always own our developments and we don't use bank or finance charges. So we never go and borrow money from a bank or borrow money from any financial institutions to build our resorts, which is really important because certainly going back in the early days, one of the big pitfalls we used to deal with with customers was developers were buying developments, but only were putting down a small deposit. Because they put down a small deposit, they were then borrowing the money from the bank to buy the land and to build the rest of the resort. The problem with that was, exactly as if you were buying your own home when you get a mortgage, you have interest payments to keep up with. Now, if for whatever reason you struggle with those interest payments on your house, unfortunately, as we all know, the bank can take your home off you. And it was no different with resorts. You had developers buying plots of land, putting down a deposit and borrowing the rest of the money. And if they didn't manage to keep up with the interest payments to the bank, then unfortunately the bank took the whole resort. And so it wasn't safe for customers investing. And we've never liked that. We firmly, really strongly believe that all property investment should be safe, secure, and profitable. So we own absolutely everything. 1 million square meters of land in France is the size of the resort. We don't have any bank or finance charges. Powerful partners. I'll kill the marketing team for writing powerful partners. Now I've read it. But it is important. You're only as good as the people you work with, such as RealtyBundles. We're delighted that we're signed with the largest hotel chain in the world, Wyndham Hotels and Resorts, which have over 9,000 hotels worldwide. And I got the figures through yesterday. It's about 80 million people now are loyalty card members, which is incredibly important. And we're going to talk about that in a minute in relation to making money. Lifetime aftercare. We don't just sell properties. We are still dealing with the people we sold properties to 15 years ago. So not only are we the sales company, we're also the management company. We're also the rental company. And when you come to exit your investment, we're also the company who will sell it on for you. So we truly believe in starting at the beginning and holding your hand all the way through the property home ownership to the very end. And here's some pictures of some of our resorts in the past. There's a 306 berth marina there on the Black Sea coast. A stunning development in Malaysia we built out over the sea, and all of the apartments were actually built on stilts. A beautiful ski resort there, something in Brazil. There's a wide range of resorts. So before I begin talking about what we do, for me there is only one important thing to consider when you're looking at property as an investment. If you don't take anything else from what I say, please just remember this, because if you don't, you're likely to lose money. It's really, really simple. That's if you are looking at buying a property with any form of investment, unfortunately, you do not matter at all, because no one in the world has ever made a penny by buying a property. Anyone who thinks they've made money by buying property is mistaken. Because you can only ever make money if you can sell it or rent it. Monica's excellent presentation just now was a perfect example of this. They bought properties at X, but the property increased in value to Y, so they made a profit. So her property, she was looking at properties which people would want to buy. Too many people, when they're looking at buying a property, think, I'll buy this and I'll make money. No, you won't. If you like it, it's wonderful, but it doesn't matter if you like it. What matters is somebody else likes it. Somebody else wants to live in it and rent it, and somebody else wants to buy it off you. Without that all-important exit, owning a property is purely ego. And we're not here to talk today about ego. We're here about the opportunity of having a profitable investment. So I'm going to keep coming back to this slide as I talk through what we do. In our opinion, there are 3 types of property investment. In essence, only 3. The first is capital appreciation. Lots of these developments may be, say, land banking, where people buy a plot of land with no construction on it yet, in the hope it increased value if ever they obtain planning. There are other examples where you buy an old property and then you renovate it. But that's capital appreciation. Now, there's lots of benefits there, and I love capital appreciation, but the negative with capital appreciation is you're always dependent on something happening which increases the value. Whether it's what you get planning, whether it's a new airport going in, whether it's whether your renovations are so nice that people like it enough that it's gone up in value. But you're always dependent on something happening. But it is a bona fide, sensible way of making money from property. The second is buy to let. We all know what buy to let is. It's where you buy a property, you don't intend to live in it, and you intend to let it out to someone else. That person pays you a rental return, which gives you your income. And eventually you'll sell it and hope you get capital appreciation. So in essence, it's better than a property which is purely capital appreciation. However, buy-to-let properties also have their negatives. The first one is the one I fell foul of myself. I used to be a police inspector on a drug squad years ago in Brighton. And I retired. And when I retired, I moved into buy-to-lets. And I bought 26 buy-to-lets eventually. Now, the problem I had was I was putting all my eggs in one basket. Because when you have a buy-to-let, A, you can't use the property, so you get no personal enjoyment. But secondly, generally, it's let to a single family or a single person. So you're completely reliant on that one entity being able to pay you a return. And unfortunately, what happens is sometimes people's life circumstances change. And one of the first things they'll stop doing is paying their rent. Now, if someone stops paying you rent, you have absolutely no income coming in. Secondly, if they're not willing to restart and catch up, you then have expensive legal fees, and you'll have a period of time where you're not making a single penny. So what I don't like about buy-to-let is you're putting all your eggs in one basket and hoping that your tenant always pays you. Now, the third one, and not surprising, because this is what we're dealing with, is tourism. And I love tourism properties. And the reason is for these three simple answers. First of all, it's an incredibly resilient market, tourism, and we'll talk about that in my next slide. Secondly, capital appreciating properties and buy-to-let properties will make you money, but they're not fun. You never get to use them yourself. But perhaps most probably the most important thing when it comes to making money is you have multiple income opportunities. With a buy-to-let, you have one person staying there for 6 months or a year. With a touristic property, your customers are changing every 2 weeks. And also, incredibly, they pay in advance. So you're getting your rental returns before the client actually turns up. And if, for whatever reason, the client defaults, you've then got another client turning up in 2 weeks. So you immediately remove any reliance on all of your income coming from one entity, which I think is incredibly important. When you're looking at any form of investment, you should diversify your portfolio to always try and ensure you have some income coming in. So for me, and it's my personal opinion, I've done capital appreciation, I've done buy-to-let, and now I will only ever do tourism, because tourism is always increasing, and tourism offers me greater opportunities for bringing in an income, and also it's fun. You get to go stay in your touristic properties. But we're going to talk about that in a minute. So tourism has shown an unparalleled ability to recover from crisis. If you look at this graph here, you will see that we've got September 2011 there. We've got the first coronavirus there. When SARS came out, people forget this is actually the third world pandemic to do with SARS so far. Coronavirus. Then you've got the 2008 and 2009 economic crisis, one of the worst we've ever had. But then look at the tourism graph. It's incredible. Despite all of these hiccups, tourism increases and continues to increase. And the reason for this is very, very simple. The world is becoming more affluent. And as the world becomes more affluent and you've got more middle class, the people want to spend the money they're earning. And they want to spend that money on a holiday. Because so many people feel they don't connect with their family because they work so many long hours. So tourism increasing, as you can see in this graph. And as tourism continues to increase, that means you've got a greater opportunity for people to stay in your touristic properties, which means you're going to make more money. So why France? Why did I decide to put a property in France? It's very, very simple. If you remember the slide about how to make money, you'll never make money by buying a property. You'll only ever make money if you can sell it or rent it. Now, France has been the #1 tourist destination in the world for over a decade now. So if you're going to buy a holiday home and you want people to rent it, then surely buy your holiday home in the country which is the most visited tourist country in the world. It makes sense. It gives you the greatest opportunity of a rental return. And when you want to exit, the person who's going to buy that property off you is undoubtedly going to be the person staying in your stunning, beautiful home. So you need as many people there staying in it that you've got a greater opportunity of exiting. So that's why we chose France. Now, we've got some figures there in relation to number of arrivals. There's flights from all over the world to France, but possibly more important, France sits in the center of Europe. We've got some figures here which are, we allegedly, and I haven't got this confirmed, so don't do anything on the back of this, but 1.2 billion people within the EU go on holiday within the EU, which is a massive market, especially with coronavirus now as well, with the domestic tourism. Now, I know most of the people listening to this aren't from the EU, but if you're looking at making money, having a resort in the center of the EU where 1.2 billion are going on holiday has got to be an incredible opportunity for making money. Also, the French government have been incredibly forward thinking. When you buy a property in France, a new build, you would generally have to pay 20% VAT tax. Yes, 20% VAT tax. We all hate paying taxes. But the French government have said, if you guarantee that you're going to rent out your property for more than half a year and make money from renting your property, then we'll give you back all of your VAT tax. Unbelievable, isn't it? The French government has said, if you guarantee that you will rent your property out and make money from it, we'll give you all your VAT tax back. Find another country in the world willing to do that. So, the resort itself. A touristic property will only have the opportunity of making money if people want to stay there. Now, as you may have guessed, there's a rather large picture behind me. This picture is one of the castles within our land. We own, as I said earlier, over 1 million square meters of land. We have 2 castles on the site. We have this absolutely stunning upscale hotel. We have an 18-hole golf course, huge 1,600 square meter children's adventure zone, a vast plethora of facilities, all aimed at ensuring when people go to stay within your resort, they have an absolutely amazing holiday. So they want to go there again, and they want to tell their friends over the road what an incredible time they had. But just a very quick word on why we're doing this. In Europe, the most successful hotel chain in terms of occupancy is called Center Parcs. If you get the opportunity after this, look up Center Parcs on YouTube. They base all of their tourism on guilt. The guilt of families not feeling they spend enough time connecting together. All of their hotels and resorts are based in very green rural areas. All their advertising is stop working, come to Center Parcs, ride bikes. When you're cycling with your family, you're walking with your family, reconnect with nature. It's a very simple message, but it means they average an occupancy rate over 90%. Now, the only problem with Center Parcs is it's generally a 3-star product. So what we've done is we're creating a Center Parcs style resort, which has already been proved as a successful template, but bringing it up to the 5-star market. So it's going to appeal to the clients who maybe expect a higher quality of service than you get in the Center Parcs, but also want to connect with their families. Okay, so now for the all-important bit, the returns. Now, RealtyBundles have their own deal, absolutely superb deal. I thoroughly recommend after this you speak to RealtyBundles about finding out exactly what they do. The figures I'm going to give here, if you're going to buy a traditional property through the traditional way through us. Once you've bought a property with us, we pay you a 5% return on your money immediately. Yes, immediately. As soon as you bought your property, we give you a 5% return. That's because some of our properties are off plan. So while the property is being constructed, and we have about 60 at the moment, which are under construction and are up to roof level. And if you're interested, we can send you a drone video showing you all the current construction, everything going on site. But while it's being built, we give you a 5% return on day one. Then, for the next 5 years, we give you a 6% return every year guaranteed. And then for the 5 years after that, we give you an 8% return every year. Now, if you choose to use your properties, there is a small reduction in your rental return, but you're always in profit with us. And so long as you rent your property out, we guarantee you have absolutely no maintenance costs whatsoever. So your worst case scenario is if you can't go to your holiday home in any 1 year, you make these returns. And if you do use it, you don't have any costs and you make a slightly smaller return. But that's incredible. Your worst case scenario is you make money and have an incredible holiday. It's worst things in the world. And we're so confident about the exit from this resort that we offer 125% assured resale on year 5. And what that means is we believe you should sell your property on the open market when you want to sell, because that's how you will make the most amount of money. But if for whatever reason you want to hand it back to us, we say that if we cannot get you 125% of your money back within 6 months, then we will increase your rental return by a whole 1% per annum. Find any estate agent or realtor anywhere in the world who says, if I can't sell your property, I'll give you more money. That's what we do. Then we also have, I think someone's turned their audio on, so I can hear myself. But anyway, what we also do is on year 10, once again, we feel you should sell in the open market. But if for whatever reason you can't, we say, give it to us to sell. And if we can't give you 150% of your original money back, then we'll increase your rental return by another 1%. So not only are you getting the returns you've seen there, we are guaranteeing capital appreciation, or we have to pay you an even higher rental return. Now, all of these figures and statistics are backed up. We've been through numerous rigorous looks at how our model works. We have 3 independent feasibility reports. But in essence, what we're doing is we're building a successful resort on a site with no debt, and we're giving customers very generous returns. And that's me done. So thank you very much for taking the time to listen to me.
All right, Robin, thank you very much for this. You mentioned that you have a special deal with RealtyBundles, which is even superior than the numbers that you provided here. And this is true. And everybody, you can see that on our platform, on the bundle page for the relevant ones. I suggest to move now to Portugal, to Jonathan.
Hello guys, everybody can hear me?
Yes.
Yes, all right, let me set up the presentation. All right, hello everybody. My name is Jonathan Gurvic. I'm the CEO of YGI Investments. We are a full service investment company based in Lisbon, and Lisbon metropolitan area. This is our main field. Although that we are operating all over the country as well. We have basically 2, I would say, arms to our operation. One, we are dealing with a bigger and more professional investors that are mainly developing buildings, both residential and office building, both in city center and outside the city in the outskirts. And we have another arm of our operation called Casa Portugal. This is more aimed for smaller investors that are looking for apartments or restaurants with the yield. It's usually they are not professional, and we facilitate this for them. A little bit what's going on in Portugal. Well, I would say that, you know, for many years, Portugal was, I would say, frozen, okay? There was not so much going on here. And then about 7 years ago, something happened, and suddenly Portugal went on the right track, and the economy started to boom. They were the first to go out of the last crisis, and it happened in every field, in every corner of the economy. I mean, it's not only the real estate market; it's also the tech industry, it's also the startups, it's also but they did very good job, and the economy started to move forward. So something, let me put it this way, that for many years, Portuguese people were very pessimistic, and suddenly in the last couple of years, you see a lot of optimism here. As you can see in the first line from a Portuguese company that is monitoring the market, the prices in Portugal rose double from the European average, and I would say that most of the analysis that I read recently, what came out of Cushman and Knight Frank, it's that basically Portugal is still going to be a center for investment for foreign investors. There is a lot of the international investing investors are focusing on Portugal, and as you can see from Knight Frank, their analysis, they are saying that Lisbon will be one of the 4 major prime residential markets that still will see some growth in 2020. Now, what actually happened here, and I think this graph, of course, talks by itself, but what actually happened here is that there was a lot of money coming in and was invested inside the city center. So luxury housing, hotels, restaurants, clubs that were not here before. And then the prices in the city center grew, of course, and then local people came out to the outskirts, and then they discover the life in the outside of the city with less pollution, more quiet, no problem of parking, new parks, and so on. So more and more developments we see also outside of the city center. So there is quite a vibrant and active market here, where inside the city there is all kind of more luxury and hospitality operations, and outside the middle class discovered the suburbs, and the big developers discovered the middle class. So that basically is the fuel that is driving the market. So those are our projects from recent. The 2 on the right, sorry, the 2 on the left is in city center. It's old buildings that we bought for our investors, and we refurbished them, sold the apartments, or rented them for Airbnb. As you can see in the one in the middle, there is also a quite large commercial floor, and the one in the right side, this is outside of the city, and it looks like that more and more the market goes to those kind of properties that are new. You buy a land, you build a new construction, and there is a lot of demand for those kind of properties lately. So I want to share with you 2 of the latest, not the latest, the recent deals that we did regarding apartments. So as we are basically doing property management and project management for foreign investors, we have the team here that is looking at the market in a little bit different eye. If you compare it to, I don't know, to regular real estate agencies. So this apartment, for example, was on the market, and it was sold by a price, or it was offered by a price of 3,600 euro per meter. Now, I put it like this, you will understand immediately why. Because the owner, it was published by 50 square meters, but in the papers of the apartment, it was 30 square meters. So of course the owner had a problem to say, hey, it has the 30 square meters, because we knew for sure that anybody that goes to the apartment can see that. The only thing that what we can do, I could call our engineer and and the architect. We went to the apartment. It was very clear that there was much more. And we reserved this apartment, and we told to the owner, let us do measurements and try to update the registration in the municipality. That's what we did. And from in 4 months, from an apartment that cost that was registered as 30 square meters, it became 98.5, so almost 100 square meters. So this is, as you can see, this is almost double the value of this apartment. And this we could do just because we had the team, and we could do it faster. For a regular person, it would take, of course, much more time. So that's why the owner didn't bother to do that. So this is one way, of course, to add value to an asset. The other example that I would like to share with you is an apartment that was it was pretty much bought in the market price, a little bit lower, but very close to market price. The thing is that the owner, the investor, was he would like to rent it and get good yield. What we saw about this apartment, that it's very easy to make 2 units out of it with basically almost zero cost, just because the way this building was constructed. So if a regular 2-bedroom apartment, you can rent it for 800, 850, maybe 900 if it's a very nice one. You can see that unit 1 is rented here by 500 euro per month. It's a small one, but quite nice with a lot of light. And the bottom one, it's a 1-bedroom apartment with a little patio that we can rent for 700. So of course there was an extra 400 euros every month that we could make a better yield. So this is basically how we look at the market. We have the time, and we are looking very carefully with our team for easy solution, how to either add value to the property or get a better yield than the average asset on the market suggested. And of course, sometimes, it's of course both of them. I think that's it for now.
Thank you, Jonathan, for good presentation, and I would like to thank the entire speakers, the 3 speakers that came and took the time to share opportunities in Budapest, in France resort, and in Portugal. I think that these are part of our offering, part of our vision to have strong partnerships with good agents and reliable agencies, and providing a diversified opportunities for investors so that they can really decide how to spend, how to invest their money, and to make a geographically diversified portfolio from small amounts. We are opening the doors for agencies all over the world to small investors, and our vision is really to create this marketplace that is the home of investors and is helping investors to achieve their goals, especially have more success when making investments and less failures. So I think that is it. Thank you everybody for attending for this conference. I think it was very interesting for me. And we will share all this information with everybody registered, attended, or didn't attend. And you can contact us at any time. Go to the platform RealtyBundles.com. Search the information that we have for you on each of the bundle pages. And of course, you can also chat with us and contact us via the phone or emails. We will answer your requests and provide to you all the information that you need. So thank you very much for this. I appreciate everybody. Have a nice evening, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
all.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Thank you, Robert.